Hi hotties, welcome back to the Hoops for Hotties Sports Bar. Today we have Lexie Brown from the LA Sparks. Lexie.
Hey.
I'm so glad you're here. We're gonna get into all the tea, but first we gotta have a little pregame cocktail.
I love a
so
cocktail.
I heard a little birdie, says that you're into celery juice.
I am, unfortunately.
You're today's cocktail is the Celexi, and it is a tequila base. The sexy Celexi. It is a tequila-based celery juice cocktail, and I'm gonna mix this up while we play a little game called Start, Bench, Cut.
Okay.
So it's kind of like Fuck, Marry, Kill, except for basketball.
Okay.
First one I want to do is point guards. Okay. So Start, Bench, Cut.
Okay.
Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and let's go Damian Lillard.
Okay. I'm gonna start Steph Curry. I'm gonna bench Kyrie, and I'm cutting Dame.
Cutting Dame.
Yeah. Which is crazy because he's still averaging like almost 25 points
I know.
a game. So, but up to our Dame standards, he's not being Dame, and there's no Dame time.
I think that's enough celery.
Have you had celery juice by itself?
Yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I know.
I'm a little nervous about this drink, not gonna lie.
Anything with tequila and sugar, I feel like is fine, you know? That's the important part.
Gets the job done.
Listen, no promises on the taste. Okay.
The baby shake. I know you've seen the bartenders in the back who be
They're like, and then they're like, that'll be $46.45 in LA. A celery juice cocktail? Come on now. Okay.
$50.
It looks pretty.
Sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then I'll
I
do
see
a
the
little
vision.
garnish. Listen, I'm eating, Lexie. Okay. Tell me that's not gorgeous. It's giving Adam and Eve. It's giving Garden of Eden. It's giving, Lexie. Okay.
I didn't even cut them.
Okay, you want yours cut? She's bougie. LA, listen. She's got a contract extension. She's staying
You
here
know
in
what
LA.
I think might be cuter? I know it's like,
Oh! Boop. I didn't even think of that. Look, see? Genius.
true alky.
She shoots, she scores.
True alky over here. I love a pretty drink.
But I was saying, you just got extended in LA.
I sure did.
And so you're an LA girl
Yeah.
for the long haul now.
Yes.
How's that feel?
I just want to be happy and comfortable playing and doing something that I love every day in a city that I love with teammates that I love. It makes me excited to
Yeah.
want to go play every day and go to practice and show up every day as my best self. So I'm just like really excited about
I'm
that.
excited for you.
Thanks.
Toast to that.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, I'm scared. It's actually good. Hold on, because she doesn't trust in the process, and it's actually really good.
You can't even taste the celery juice.
Exactly.
This is good.
I say we get into our seats and go spill some tea. Lexie, how you living?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the Hoops for Hotties Sports Bar.
I love this.
How's LA life?
I love it. Glad to be back. I was just in Dallas for 5 weeks playing in Athletes Unlimited. Had a great time, but I'm very happy to be back in LA.
I've been wanting to ask you, what is life like as a professional athlete? Like, what you're a part of being the best in the world at what you do. So how is that on your day to day?
It's hectic at times. That's the thing about being like an athlete is like, because, you know, we have seasons, like your life gets like really, really busy and hectic. And then all of a sudden you like don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just kind of how we live our lives. It's like just really busy. You're on a schedule. You got to be at practice. You got to travel. You got game days. And then once the season ends, you're just like,
Chilling.
no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to fill your time with things, but like it's not as strict and you're not really on a schedule all the time. So it's like really like night and day.
Yeah. And was this always your dream?
Yes. Since I've been little. My dad actually coached the WNBA team. He coached 2 WNBA teams. So I was in elementary school and he was doing that. So I was able to be like up close and personal to the W when I was a little girl. So from that moment, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do.
Who were players that you looked up to that you were like, I want to be like that?
A player that I looked up to, like wanting to like mold my game after, was Christy Tolliver. So she went to Maryland. won a championship with the Mystics. I got to play with her in LA, which was like a crazy experience for me.
Full circle.
And then when my dad was coaching, he had a point guard. Her name was Shannon Johnson. She was number 14 for the Orlando Miracle, and she was my favorite player, and I loved her so much. And she was like so nice to me. And she was like one of the first WNBA players where I was just like, oh yeah, she called. Like, that's what, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be just like her.
Do you ever have moments that take you back where like you're playing and little girls are like coming and you see like the light in their eyes of like...
Literally, that's funny you asked that.
Yeah.
So after Athletes Unlimited was over, I got kind of sick during the last game, so I didn't get to finish it. And after every game, they have like a whole section in the back where you like go through the line and sign autographs for people. And because I wasn't feeling well, I was in the locker room. And a little girl was waiting in line, and my friend was like, she was like beside herself. Like, she was so upset that she didn't get your autograph, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, damn. So after the game, I came out. I had a pair of sneakers that I wanted to give away anyway and sign them. So I asked her, I was like, can you go find that little girl? She's still here. She found her. I gave her a hug. We took pictures. I gave her the shoes. Just bawling, crying.
Stop.
I was like, oh my God, please don't cry. She had like my little t-shirt on with my number. She's like, I just love you so much.
And that's why what you do is so important, because it's like girls can't see it if they don't see other girls doing it. And it's like when they see you, it's like they're seeing their future just like you did.
Like I was like, oh my gosh, like nothing else really even matters. Like I love basketball. I love being able to do things I love, but like that experience right there is like one of my favorite things about being a professional athlete.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
If you were appointed commissioner of the W, what is something that you would change or implement?
Oh gosh.
Or a few things.
I think the first thing, I mean, I'm just assuming that I like have endless money and power right now.
Do.
Charter flights.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then every organization has a practice facility for their team, which we're getting there. But.
And it's so crazy to have such incredible facilities in LA that like you guys can't use.
Yeah, don't even get me started on what we're up against as female athletes. Like, I'm like, y'all, everyone's preaching uplift, empower, help, invest. But then when we're like, all right, help, they're like, yeah, I don't want to help that way. Like, y'all want something else? Like, no, like we want help with things that we need. And the fact that so many teams don't have their own practice facilities and we still show up every day and play at an extremely high level, like, is very impressive.
It's like people are selective with it, right? Like I saw your tweets talking about Ice Cube offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in the Big Three. And it's just wild how like things seem to be changing, but it feels to me like it only seems to be changing for a select few people. And it's like, why?
Yeah. It's just because I've been getting a lot of heat for what I said about that, which didn't really bother me because I could 100% see that people were not understanding or comprehending what I was saying. And they also didn't listen to the whole conversation. But like, that's the good and bad thing about posting a clip. Yeah. Like it's essentially is clickbait, which is exactly what happened because the shit blew up crazy. Yeah. I'm like, thank y'all for engaging because money for me. But, you know, you can't make sense of nonsense. And, you know, there's a lot of, I don't usually go back and forth with people on social media. Yeah. But like people were coming at my character. People were coming at me crazy and completely missing the point. So I'm just like, all right, make your point make sense to me. Yeah. And they can't because they're not listening to the initial point anyway. Ice Cube also went on ESPN talking about it, said he hasn't even spoken to Caitlin Clark's people at all, that it was leaked. And then they were asking him a lot of questions about the state of women's basketball in the WNBA, and he had no idea. Yeah. So that's where I was coming out with it. If he offered it to any player, I would have been like, what is your real intention? And that got lost in translation, which is odd because I'm like, y'all really don't want to support the WNBA that bad? Yes.
Okay, wait, back it up. So Ice Cube obviously offered Caitlin Clark the $5 million to play the Big Three. And then your opinion, so set the record straight of what your opinion on that situation was.
My only reasoning for even chiming in. First of all, when I woke up and saw that, I thought it was fake.
Yeah, I did too.
I was like, who made this up?
I saw it in the shade room.
Real.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is. I saw it on TMZ. I was like, okay, this can't be real. I saw his tweets shortly after. He mentioned WNBA and women's athletes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this is about all of us, what you're doing. He said that we struggle to make ends meet, which is not true. He said we're forced to go overseas, also not true. He basically shit on all the countries that we go to play in. Like, not every country is the best country, but like, there are some beautiful countries that we go and play in, and EuroLeague and Euro Cup are like amazing leagues full of amazing players. So yeah, he just said, like, I want to uplift women's sports and WNBA players by inviting the next big WNBA superstar to come play in a league that's at the same time as WNBA league. So I'm just like, that just doesn't really make sense to me.
You're taking out a big part, who's somebody who will be a big part of the W, and bringing them into a different league. And then it's also like, how does that help the WNBA?
Right.
Helping one person and somebody who's coming straight out of college.
Yeah, and someone that will never have to go overseas ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she's not, if you're trying to really help those players, she's not even the one to do that. But I just think it's like, he just set the WNBA up to be in a weird situation because, okay, we said, you know what, Caitlin, take the bag. It's $5 million.
Yeah.
Like, don't play, go take the money and come back next season. If he's really about it, do that. I'm all for that. But say she doesn't, which I don't think she is. Now it's, oh, the WNBA doesn't want to grow. The WNBA bullied her into saying no. Like, he pretty much set the WNBA up to be in a very much lose-lose situation. And that's where I had the problem. With all
And
of
it's
it.
also not setting up a women's league. It's
Exactly. You're
plucking
putting her
out
in
of
a
women's league.
putting her in a men's league.
Yeah.
Which 2 months ago, y'all didn't even want Sabrina Ionescu shooting against Steph Curry. So can y'all make a decision?
If you could do a shootout at All-Star Weekend with any NBA player, who are you challenging?
Who am I challenging? Probably Klay Thompson.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you not try and challenge probably the next best shooter after Steph?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's get into some tea.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, take a sip of your Celexi because this is a doozy. We're getting into dating, Lexie.
I love that you're asking about this because I've had some crazy epiphanies the last few days.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
What are some of your epiphanies?
Well, I have like an extremely horrible taste in my mouth when it comes to men. And I think it's because my interactions my interactions with them in the last like 2 years have been so horrible and negative and mean. I'm just like, I can't like y'all.
Yeah.
Like, look how y'all speak to me every day.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's slim pickings. I was talking to one of my friends about, I'm like, the streets are cold.
No,
when you're
it's
dating
crazy.
and you're picking your person, do you prefer an athlete or a non-athlete?
I used to prefer athletes, but now I'm off athletes. And I don't mean, people are like, I mean, I only picked athletes because, you know, I was like, oh, we can relate to things. Like, no, we don't relate to anything outside of our jobs.
Yeah.
And that's not a reason why you should date somebody.
Exactly.
And I've learned, I'm 29, it's finally clicked.
Just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean you have to date a lawyer. Just because you're a
Right.
doctor doesn't mean you have to date a doctor.
Exactly.
Same thing with athletes.
Exactly.
And I feel like, I don't know, I want your take on this because you're a professional athlete yourself. And I know a thing or two about the stigma of how male athletes move kind of in the dating sense. Do you feel like female athletes move kind of like the way they do, or that like y'all act a little different?
No, I think it's very different. I think women in general are more selective of who they decide to date and be around and give their energy to. So I think it's completely different. Also, like, you can't just be like going around dating like bums. Handsome bums.
Handsome bums.
Like,
that's the thing. I think people forget.
Men with money, power, and influence date beautiful bums sometimes.
Beautiful bums.
Like, that's real. Like, it's real. So it's like, we can't go around and be like, oh, he's really handsome. He's tall. He's fine, but he has no job. 3 kids. No car. Like,
no job and 3 kids is crazy.
But let me stop. Let me shut up. Let me just stop.
No, but that's real because I feel like attractive people don't have to learn how to do much outside of just like be fine. And I think that with men, because they get so many benefits in other areas of life, you add fine and tall on top of that, then they never learn how to be funny. They never learn how to be nice. And then it's just like a beautiful bum.
A beautiful bum.
Yeah.
So
what the hell
I
are we gonna do with that?
Single till further notice. But yeah, it's just like, I feel like men are like their worst selves when they're watching sports. Betting on sports. Like, and women really don't be around men all the time. Like, even women are like, I cannot watch the game with my man. I gotta go somewhere else. He gotta go with his friends. Like, yes, go away or you will hate his guts.
Exactly.
And that's the only time I have all these interactions with any man has to do with sports.
That's true.
And y'all are like, I don't know what happens, what switch flips. I'm like, y'all are just horrible.
It's so scary, especially being a woman working in sports and like you playing sports. You have so many interactions around sports with men, and I think that they forget that like you're still a woman.
I'm a woman.
Yeah. like don't talk to me like that. Like
I've been getting talked to crazy the last 24 hours. And I'm just like, what is wrong with y'all?
Well, I feel like they could literally post Angel Reese is in my brain because of just what's been going on recently.
Yeah, her comments are nasty.
I'm like, they could post her feeding the homeless and like dumping a truck of shoes to a bunch of little girls who want to play basketball. And the comments are like, get in the kitchen, bitch.
Yeah. Like today, they were like, don't you have some bikini pictures to post?
You?
Yeah.
To you?
Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, actually, I do. And you know what? And they're like, well, you need to get off the internet and get in the gym and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like,
get in the gym. You're a professional athlete.
I'm in the gym every day.
Yeah, I
it's
think
literally my job. So I'm like, when comments like that start coming, I'm like, all right, we've lost the plot.
So what are your deal breakers? What are your no's?
Short. I said that on the other show I was on, and they were upset about that. And I'm like, it's a preference.
Yeah,
I'm a tall
that's
girl.
fair. That's fair.
Tallish. My tall friends don't think I'm tall. But
okay, hear me out. You meet the absolute love of your life. He's a doll, and he's your height, eye level. Okay, no, he's a little shorter. than you.
Can't do it.
Okay, so your height.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He has to be like the best, the most amazing human, which it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
happening.
Listen, tall men, hit up Lexie. I mean, okay, Lexie, you're making it kind of hard for us right now because you said no athletes, but they have to be tall.
Tall for me, because when I was growing up, I was like 6'8".
Yeah, I relate to that.
Now I'm like, okay, 6 feet.
Yeah.
Cool. If I could wear heels around you, you good.
So your one deal breaker is short?
I mean, that will prevent me from like engaging with you. If I'm like,
that's your idea.
I'm just like, he's like, hey, no, sorry, bro.
I like,
hey, you're not gonna have me walking around here like Shrek. No, thank you.
So what if you're on like let's say you meet somebody on Insta and you pull up to the first date and he's short. Are you leaving?
Oh, I'm already questions already being asked before we link.
Oh, so you're asking how tall he is?
Yes.
Real.
You can't be.
Men are honest about their height.
That's fine, but I have a guess of how tall or short you are. Like,
yeah.
But sometimes in pictures, like you can't always tell. So I always try to find a picture of them next to like a car or something.
Yeah. I went on a date with a guy who was 6 foot tall, and he looked me dead in my face. I'm 5'7". So I was like,
So now you're short and a liar. Yeah. Get out of my face.
What do you listen to?
I like R&B a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a music thing where like I just fixate on like maybe like 5 or 6 songs for a really, really long time.
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm always listening to Drake. That's always my guy.
Yeah.
Who am I listening to right now? I be listening to like random TikTok songs that I be finding that I just be like,
okay. So you like Drake?
I'm getting into house music.
Mm-hmm.
I love house music.
I can't do it.
Really? But not like the...
I can't even do the like... You know the songs that play in the background at restaurants?
Yes. See, I do like that.
I'm like,
but it's like, there's like, I don't know what to call the, kind of like what Drake's Uns album was. Whatever
Honestly,
genre.
never mind.
Yeah. Whatever genre that is.
Yeah, that's
it's like house, rap, R&B.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at. I'm trekking through it right now.
See, and I'm a Drake head, so I'm like,
Did you like that album?
I loved it.
Me too.
I loved it. And people were hating. That happens with Drake music though. Like every time it drops.
Like clockwork.
They hate it. And then a year later, Certified
I
Lover
was
Boy was a
asleep.
classic. Yeah.
I wasn't.
I was wide awake, baby.
So was I.
Wide awake.
Forcing it on everybody I could.
Oh, I do that. I do that real bad. I feel like, okay, so you listen to R&B, but like in-house. But is like, are you listening to like while you're in shoot around?
Like I like listening to it in the car. When I'm shooting and working out, I listen to R&B, slow R&B. I mean, Drake always, but yeah, I can't really
Paul
do.
George, you know those edits of him?
I like even when people make me highlight videos, I'm like, I like slow, cute, girly, girl power R&B songs.
Okay, I like that.
So I like, that's kind of like my lane. But like all that hardcore rap, no, I can't do it. It's just not my personality. I'm like real laid back. I play kind of laid back.
Exactly.
I can't
You're
get
chilling. You're a shooter. There's something like poetic about that.
Exactly. See, you get me, girl.
Exactly. I feel you. Trust
me.
We're right here. You're more of a chill person. I find that like, in order to be a pro athlete, you have to be like super uber competitive. So do you feel like you turn that part of yourself on when you're like, you turn it on like a performer?
Yeah, for sure. And I've realized that I do that because now I'm doing Pilates and, you know, you're in a class with a bunch of people and they're like, look at your neighbor, push yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that here. Like my competitive brain is not on when I'm in Pilates. I'm here to get my body right and have a good time. When I'm on the court, I'm there to rip your head off.
Yeah.
Every time. So it's like, yeah, there's an on and off switch. But even on the court, like even at my peak competitive self, I'm still like a very low-key, quiet. Like, I'm like, people say like I'm like kind of like aloof on the court sometimes, but like I'm just like kind of locked in, like just in my own way.
I feel like people are learning for the first time with all of the eyes on women's college basketball right now, how competitive women's basketball has always been, which I don't know where people got lost in translation. Like, I don't know if they never played sports. Yeah. But I think it's so interesting how in the W, y'all, first of all, go at it, but y'all be
chatting.
Yeah. Talking crazy.
Not I.
Yeah.
I'm not quiet. A chatter.
You're quiet.
I want to be one, but I just...
What happens when somebody chats to you?
I just be like, girl, get out my face. I'm like, y'all talking to a brick wall. Like, y'all not gonna get a reaction out of me. But that's like me in life. Like, people get buck with me or get loud at me, and I'm just kind of like,
oh God, you're that person. Somebody's trying to argue with you. You're like, chill.
Yeah. Like, are you done? Can we talk like normal people?
I can't stand that. I can't. When I start raising my voice and people are like, can we just talk like normal people? Oh my God.
But why can't you just talk like normal people?
Because I'm passionate.
Okay, that's fine, and get it out. I'm not matching that energy.
Oh my gosh.
I used to match energy when I was a little bit younger. You ain't getting me nowhere.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. What do you feel like your biggest strength is on the court? It could be like a leadership kind of thing, or like a tangible thing, or like an intangible thing. But what do you feel like your biggest strengths are on the court and your biggest weaknesses?
Yeah, I would say like as far as like basketball skill, my shooting. I think I'm a super underrated defender. And I have like a really high basketball IQ because I just watch basketball all the time. My dad and I talk about basketball all the time ever since I've been a kid. So like I just know a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right? So that is something that a lot of people they've seen it like on Twitter and on the podcast, but they haven't really seen it on the court because I haven't really had a leadership role on a team yet. So this year will be like my first year really having a real leadership role on the team. So I'm like really excited about that. As far as intangibles, like when I was younger, I was like a super hothead, screaming at people, yelling at people. But when you're younger, it's like you have goals for yourself. You know where you want to go. And it frustrates you when people don't have the same goals as you. But like, that's fine. Like they don't want to be professional basketball players. So they're not going to work as hard as you. But when you're young, that doesn't register. You just want to win. You want everybody to be so great. But like when you're a pro, okay, everyone's gotten to this level their way. So you need to learn how to communicate with people. You need to know how to level with people. You need to know how to read people. So I think for me, even with the ups and downs of my career, I've been able to do a lot of watching and learning and observing. So now as a leader, like I understand how to talk to this teammate. I understand how to talk to this teammate. I can tell when this teammate is kind of having a bad day. Leave her alone. Or I need to like make her laugh or something. Yeah. Which that's what my job was for a few years. I was just like, Lexie, make everybody laugh.
Yeah, because I mean, it's
stupid.
Work.
Okay.
Like those are your coworkers at the same time. And it's interesting in a professional setting because you don't pick them. So it's like you could have somebody that you might not necessarily be friends with in a regular setting.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out how to work together and play together.
Like we get drafted. Like, we're not like, until free agency, but you got to earn that shit.
Yeah.
I want to go to this team because I like that coach and I like those players. Yeah. No, they're like, you're going to go here and figure it the fuck out.
Exactly.
And sometimes you don't figure it out. But if you are really serious about extending your career in the W, you have to learn how to figure it out. And that's what I had to do.
Yeah. I feel like you're so smart career-wise on and off the court. Like you've marketed yourself so well with everything that you're doing. I want to talk about Gil's Arena a little bit. How did that come about? Like did Gilbert Arenas like call you up?
No, so Josiah is our host. He's like a huge NBA Twitter person.
Yeah, I follow Josiah.
And I was slowly becoming like an NBA Twitter person too, which is funny because like WNBA Twitter hates my guts. So
really?
I had to pivot to NBA Twitter instead. So
you got kicked out of your own league's Twitter.
I mean, and to this day, I don't know why. Even when I was getting packed up yesterday and they felt the same way as me, like they didn't really defend me or like co-sign anything I was saying. Like it was very odd, but like I don't care. Like we're past that now.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a new space and like it doesn't bother me, so it's whatever. But who reached out to me? I can't even remember who reached out to me, but it was because me and Josiah started following each other. We would interact with each other. Gina, I think I don't know if she's Gil's agent. Like I'm not sure, but she works with Sid and TP. Like she's just got hands in everything, and she reached out the beginning of last year for me to just be a guest on it because I was in LA. I was like, sure, let me go be a guest. And I ended up getting a viral clip talking about DeAndre Ayton. I'm not high on Ayton either. Like at all, actually. I just don't like him. I just don't like how he plays. Why do you play like that? Just like a random clip. It just went crazy. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, all right, well, this is kind of fun. But like, I'm not the type of person, someone gets a viral moment and they just like keep leaning into it. I'm like, no, this is the moment. Let it go. Moving on to the next thing because I'm gonna have another one.
You go viral a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You went viral for your 2K character. I'm going off script. I have to bring it up. Lexi's 2K character
was disgusting. Looked like a swamp creature crawling from the depths of the sea.
It didn't look like you. It didn't look like you.
It didn't look like me.
One of my first viral TikToks was me talking about this, right?
I think that's the first time I saw your TikToks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, finally someone on my side.
I go, why did they give my girl edges? I'm looking at her right now. She's got edges. They didn't give her edges. They didn't give her lashes.
Ponytail.
But you know what gets me? The men, because for men, 2K is like build a bitch workshop. And they give them, waves.
Tattoos.
And they give them braids. And I'm like, and they didn't even give you cheekbones.
And honestly, when I posted that video on TikTok, my community on TikTok is this big. So I was like, this is just me talking shit with my little TikTok people.
Yeah.
I don't know who got a hold of it and sent it to the masses of Twitter. Once it's, because I've noticed TikToks belong on TikTok.
Oh, amen.
When people put a TikTok on Twitter, I'm like, this is not the target audience. I think that's what I love about TikTok is you are literally in your target audience all the time.
Exactly. They know exactly who to show.
You rarely cross over to the wrong side of TikTok. And sometimes it does happen. But usually it's because it was brought to another platform and then people searched it up on TikTok.
Yeah. Twitter is like just evil because everybody rage baits on Twitter. And so the comments on Twitter are so mean. Like they will come for your person. TikTok is like, even if they're being mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't.
Like I remember I saw something and I forgot when this was, but this was like a thing in the comments where people like, cool, but don't ever do it again. And they did like the sparkle emoji, fairy emoji, pink heart emoji.
Yes,
Like,
they're like, you cooked, get out of the kitchen.
sparkle, sparkle, sparkle.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I love TikTok. But yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
why are y'all so mad about a video game?
on the sneak, though, I think people are the meanest on Instagram. People are really mean on Instagram.
Yeah.
Not on like my Instagram, but has this happened to you? This has happened to you a million times. When you, like, one of the big pages will pick up something that you've said and post it, like Bleacher or something, and like they'll post it, and you're like, oh, this is sick. Like, I'm on this big page.
When the Shade Room got the 2K, I was like,
no, they didn't put you on the
off.
Shade Room. No,
Logging
they didn't
off.
put you on the Shade Room.
I literally texted my mom and I was like, as long as Shade Room don't get this, I'm good. Literally 10 minutes later, Shade Room. I was like, no, what? I don't
I'm
want to
telling
be
you,
there.
the Shade Room comments set us back on Gil's arena. How is that navigating? You know, Gil has such a big personality, and I feel like y'all are a big personality show. Like, what is that dynamic like?
Yeah. It's funny because when I first got on the show, I was like real quiet. And even a lot of the people like because it's a live show, so we have a live chat. So Gil reads the chat during the show. So I'm like, I'm not sure people realize that. Like Gil is going as like the chat goes, basically. So he's always watching the chat. So I'm like, he's not always pulling stuff out his own head. He's like watching the chat to like check the temperature. Me, I just show up every day and they don't tell me, like sometimes we'll go through a quick run through, but for the most part, everything's off the top. So I think that's what makes the show fun. No one comes in prepared.
Yeah.
So it's like just legit, like hoop talk. We talk about pop culture a little bit, but it's like just real genuine vibes. Like there's no prep for anybody except for Josiah because he has to host.
Exactly.
So I think that's what makes the show so fun.
One of my favorite moments from you on Gil's is when you guys were talking about the viral first date list of places like women don't want to go on first dates. Yeah.
Rashad wore a shirt today that said Applebee's or nothing.
Really?
Yes. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Applebee's is disgusting.
Okay. I'm not going on a first date to Applebee's.
No.
That's a joke. But I feel like you know ahead of time that you're pulling up to an Applebee's, no? Like they tell you like, hey, meet me.
Joe's like, because we were talking about Drake. He's like, if Drake invites you to no, I'm not going to Applebee's with Drake. Please stand up, girl. Don't let him take you to Applebee's.
I'm like, shoot, I don't know. I can get into a little Applebee's.
No. No Drake. No anybody.
But I love that moment when you guys were talking about the first date list because it's like you and a bunch of like ex-NBA players, just men. And you and then Josiah and you and you were having to like stand up for like all women in this moment. And you're like,
just people.
Yeah.
Just the way they were like, they gotta earn a steak. I'm like, where are we right now? What are we talking about? So what if I run up the check at Applebee's and you end up spending $500 at Applebee's?
You know, would eat. The real way to respond to getting asked on a date at Applebee's would be to go to the Applebee's and just order everything. Run the tab up.
17 drinks. All the apps.
I don't know. If a man took you on a date to an Applebee's, they clearly like don't care that much. And so if you started running up the tab, I bet you they would leave you.
Yeah, because I'm like, because for them, at the end of the day, it was about the money that they were spending. So I was like, so what if we go to a nice restaurant and I get like a salad and a glass of wine and you spend $50?
Yeah.
And then we go to Applebee's and I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
And you spend $400 because I ordered 17 drinks.
Yeah. I feel like the Applebee's ask is really just a test. I want to transition a little bit into your W career because there was a time when you thought that you weren't going to be able to continue playing.
So yeah, I got cut after my second season in the league. Was it after my second? No, after my third season in the league. It was after the bubble season, which was traumatizing. And I was doing like the best off-season training I'd ever done. I was like super locked in. I had trainers. I had like nutritionists. Like I was on my shit, like, right? So, training camp is approaching and I like just don't hear anything from the Lynx organization. Like just nothing. Just
that's
radio silence. I mean, I don't know, but that's how it went for me. So, I hit up my agent and I was like, yeah, there seems something weird going on. I need you to like figure like out what's going on. And he was like, he comes back and he's like, oh yeah, they've been trying to trade you. And I was just like, what? why?
Yeah.
Wouldn't say why. Couldn't trade me. So then they just cut me before training camp even started. And it was like maybe a week before we had a report. And because we were still in COVID protocol, you had to be in market like mad early and like take all these COVID tests and stuff. So like I was just like scrambling to find a team at that point. So I ended up in Chicago, got cut from them too. And I was just kind of like, all right, what's next? Like,
Yeah.
At that point, I was like over it.
That's wild. That feels like, I always forget with athletes being like traded or cut or situations like that it's really that cut and dry of like, they're just like, they literally cut you, like getting cut from the team in high school. Like,
Yeah. They're like, okay, thanks for your time. Get out.
wow.
So I was just kind of like, I knew that because there's players that are like training camp, like just professional training camp contract players or professional 10-day players. And I was like, I'm not going to put myself in that because sometimes you kind of just get stuck in that. And then that's like a weird place to be, just bouncing around teams, always being available, which works out for some people. Like I had a teammate this past year, Carly, who was like that. Now she has a guaranteed contract with another team. So like amazing for her, but it took her a long time to do that. And I was like, that's just not something I'm interested in doing. So when I got cut by Chicago, I was like, if Chicago don't call later, like I'm done until next season, or maybe I'm just going to start playing overseas or just do other stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of when I really leaned into this like social media. I mean, I always was into social media, but like, it was like frowned upon when I was in school. Like I would get in trouble for it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. So I had like YouTube already going, all that kind of stuff. And everyone kind of was just, why do you do that? Like, what's the point? Like
your teammates and coaches or?
Yeah. I mean, my teammates liked it because it was fun to like document stuff. And like, I always made them take pictures of me and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But my coaches were like, why? Like, get off the internet, go work out. You're not focused. I had WNBA coaches calling my college coaches, asking if I was focused, if I cared about basketball.
Wow, because of your social media
Because my social media. And I was just kind of like, yes, I'm focused. Like, I'm one of the best players in the country.
Yeah.
What do you mean am I focused?
Which is fascinating because I feel like right now, most of the best players in the country have to be social media personalities, or they naturally are, like a Jared McCain or an Angel Reese or like Caitlin Clark. I feel like she didn't set out to be a social media personality, but that's part of it now.
Right.
And so it's interesting that back in the day, they were like,
Back in the day.
Yeah, I just called you old as hell.
You just aged the hell out of me back in the day. Golly.
Way back when, in the Stone Ages.
It ended up being a blessing in disguise because basketball was my identity for so long. And it was like suddenly ripped from me. And I had to really like sit back and be like, who am I without basketball? And a lot of people don't get that experience until they're like just done playing or they retire. And like trying to figure out who you are at like 35, 36 is like probably a horrible experience. So the fact that I got that experience, even though it was hard at the moment I didn't understand why I was dealing with this, like as hard as I work and things like that, it like allowed me to like really step into who I am like as a person outside of basketball.
Yeah, and now you get to be both. Like you have your contract, you get to be in LA where you want to be and in the situation you want to be in, and you get to be Lexie off the basketball court and do podcasts and do everything you're doing.
Yeah, and it's just like I won't let basketball define me, and I'm just like, there's not really anything that y'all can say about it now at this point because I did get cut. Like it happened already. Like y'all can't be like, oh, she gonna get. I already did. I've already been there, done that, and I worked my ass off, and I'm back. Now I'm here for at least 3 more years, so y'all can shut the hell up for at least 3 years.
Talk to them.
Just at least for 3 years.
Exactly. I mean, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
That's a long time, and I'm happy for you that you are solidified, and now you have avenues you can go into after playing because you find so many athletes that get lost in playing and get addicted to that, to traveling and being bouncing around the whole country and stuff. And then you just have to sit.
You just have to stop. I mean, I think it's crazy that I was teammates with Chanae and Candace.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I was able to see Chanae when she first started ESPN when we were in Connecticut, her doing both. And then the year I was in Chicago, I watched Candace come back and forth doing her TNT stuff. And I was like, oh, it's doable.
Yeah.
You can still play at a high level and chase your next career. You can do it
100%.
at the same time. So I was really happy to be able to witness them in their off-court greatness while they were still playing. And I think I paid probably closer attention to it than, anybody else. Because I was like, that seems like kind of cool that you're doing your next career already, but you're still playing at a high level. It's time consuming. It's not easy, but it's doable.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to see was that you can do it.
So college.
College.
What were you like?
Just fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
How were you able, because I know I went to Georgia, so I
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard about Georgia.
why are you looking at me like that?
Turned up over there in Athens, girl.
Yeah, it is. It's fun.
Yeah.
But what was it like being, one of the best athletes in the country and balancing school and
No, that was school. I was a straight A student.
You were really doing your homework and shit?
Yes. I like school. I'm a nerd.
You were really
I was
doing
in
your
grad
homework and
school. Yes. Yeah.
shit? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
You should.
What was your best subject?
Math.
Okay. Cool. What was your major?
Sociology, and then a graduate degree in business.
Okay. She's for real. You did say that you don't argue with people, but you do go back and forth a little bit on Twitter.
Yeah. I just like people you say something mean, right? Now, take the meanness away and explain to me why you feel this way. And they usually just don't. Like today I was going back and forth with somebody about the Big 3 thing. And they were like, da 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 da, you was hating. I was like, hating on what?
Yeah.
Like what did I say? I mean, your point was valid, but you opened the doors for people to hate. I was like, so I didn't hate. All right.
Yeah, and you open the doors for that person to hate.
I'm like, so you blaming me for people being weird? You're blaming me for that? Okay, I'll take that.
I remember you talking on, I think you were on Gil's Arena when you said, somebody came up to me once and said that they've never met a WNBA player that looks like me.
Yeah.
What do you mean
so
by
weird
that?
because there's some beautiful, amazingly dressed, swaggy players. Not necessarily looks like me, with the hair, lashes, nails, but someone that can put it together, put themselves together. There's a league full of women that can put it together in the WNBA. So when she said that, I was kind of like, that's weird, but I get it. You're in a completely different space. So I can't feel a way about that because that's just her reality. I mean, when I was younger, I thought I was putting shit on and I wasn't.
We all did.
But at the time, you kind of was, but still it was a mess. But I've always really enjoyed getting dressed and putting outfits together. Even in college, we go to the bars. I'd want to put on a real cute fit, take pics and all that kind of stuff. I've just always had a camera in my face growing up.
That's real.
My parents love taking pictures and videos. We just have so many photo albums at the house of just pictures of us and my family. So that's just how I grew up, just always ready to take a picture.
Yeah, so the tunnel is your perfect opportunity.
Yeah, so when I first got to the league, that wasn't a thing. Even the NBA, it's relatively new. So when I was in Connecticut, I would just get, I have a YouTube video about it. I literally am there's nothing to do here, so I just get dressed and look cute for games because I'm not finna play anyway. So I could do my makeup and hair because I'm not playing.
Beautiful on the bench.
Yeah. So I would always put on a cute outfit, but no one ever saw it because we didn't have the tunnel pics. And I remember I talked to someone after the season and they were like, I feel like y'all should get dressed more. We should take pictures of y'all more. I was like, you're on to something right there. So the next year when I was in Minnesota, I started getting dressed more and I really had a good relationship with all of our content people and our photographers. So I always had fit pics and mini and the fits were just, at the time I thought they was eating, but questionable at best.
Yeah.
I just like to look cute, be comfortable. Cause then you still got to put the fit on after the game is over.
Nobody talks about that.
Right.
Nobody talks about that.
Your hair all fucked up.
You're sweaty.
You're sweaty. Your makeup don't look the same. You still got to, how am I going to look when I put this on after the game?
Speaking of after the game, are you ever okay, let's speak real for a second.
Not you put the note cards down.
Let's speak real for a second. I was watching a game with my brother, and we were talking about when they do the interviews, like the sideline interviews during the game with the coach, and then we're talking about they do the interview after the game when you're like on the court, and they're like, how did blah, blah. And then you guys go into post game, and like they come in the locker room and do interviews, and then you sit up on the little stage, and they. Do you get sick of answering those questions?
Me, no. Like I'm like the media girl.
Oh.
So it's like anytime they need something, they're like Lexie, and I'm like, okay.
Okay. Going into the season, what are you looking most forward to?
I'm looking forward to, like I said before, being a veteran leader and presence on the court and in the locker room. And I'm just looking forward to like having like a really young, fun team. Like I've just always been on teams with like all these seasoned veterans, and obviously you're competing for a championship, and like, but like I'm not like on a championship or bust situation right now. So I think it's just gonna be really fun for us to all learn and grow together, and just like really enjoy playing and being around each other. And I'm just grateful to be back on the court after being sick last summer. And for me, like one of my coaches asked me last week, like, what motivates me or what has motivated me in the past. And prior to being sick, my motivation came from like just proving everybody wrong. Like y'all not finna tell me what type of player I am. Y'all not finna tell me what type of career I'm gonna have. I work too hard for my like legacy to be controlled by like what y'all gonna say and what y'all gonna do. So proving people wrong, proving myself right. Like that has always just been my motivation. Now I play with I'm just full of gratitude.
Yeah.
I just be happy to be out there. Like it's not easy all the time. It's hard to sometimes get up for workouts and practices and games. But like once I step on that court, I'm just like, I get to fucking play basketball today. And I get paid for it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful life, right?
Yeah. So now I'm just
right
like, I just feel so much gratitude and happiness. And yeah, that might have taken a little bit of my competitiveness away, but just a little bit. Because I still want to win at the end of the day. I want to play well. I want to do well. But I know that my work ethic is going to take care of that. But like now I'm just out there like, y'all can't say nothing to upset me. Like what I've been through, what I've dealt with in my career, with my health, everything. Like I'm just happy to fucking be here.
Well, I hope you enjoyed your Celexis.
I did.
And the Hoops for Hotties sports bar. Thank
Shout
you
out
so
Hoops
much
for Hotties.
Yes, Lexi's a hottie, officially. Thank you guys so much for watching. For more Hoops for Hotties, stay tuned. And Lexie, anything you want to promote? Tell the people where to find you.
All my socials are my name, Lexie Brown. Lexie with an E at the end, I-E. Yeah, look out for the vacay pics. They on the way.
Cool.
Yay. Yay.